All right, let's go over how to run a sub 6-minute mile. So I've been coaching people to do this for years. I've been able to do it myself for many, many years. But first we have to talk about who this video is for, because if you're a runner, you might be laughing at trying to achieve a sub 6-minute mile. Maybe you can run sub 6-minute miles on repeat. This is obviously not for the marathon runners, because what I like to focus on is being really well-rounded. So I want to be able to run faster than the average lifter, and I want to be way stronger than the average runner. So any runner laughing at the sub 6-minute mile, well, let's compare back squats and see where we end up. So if you are like me and you want to be really well-rounded and achieve and be able to maintain a sub 6-minute mile, let's go over a framework I've used over the years to coach people to it and also be able to do it myself. So what we're going to be covering today is the basics of energy system training. And I'm not going to try and bore you with all of the details of energy system training, but I am on a mission to make sure everyone is maintaining fitness. I did a video not that long ago on how to do 20 plus pull-ups, how to get better at pull-ups. And my goal in that kind of video is to show you how simple training can really be. And that's my goal here, how simple conditioning can really be, but still get you to a really high level. Because if you are also like me, I don't train twice a day. I don't train for 2 hours a day. I train for an hour a day, 5 to 6 days per week. And so when I'm only training for 45 minutes to an hour each day, but I still want to do cool things. I still want to be really strong. I want to be able to do 20 strict pull-ups. I want to run sub 6-minute miles. All of these things, I have to be incredibly efficient. The workouts have to be very effective. They have to be very simple. I can't have a lot of brain energy going into my workouts because I have a lot of other stuff going on. I'm an entrepreneur with multiple companies. I have 3 children. I'm a husband. I have a lot of other stuff going on that I like to focus on, and not just training my ass off for 3 or 4 hours a day between an AM and PM workout, training 7 days a week. That's not really my style. So now that you kind of know who this video is for and who it's not for, let's talk about how simple energy system training can really be. What I'm going to give you is 3 workouts per week. Now, this would go really nicely with my other video about, or my other podcast about how to do 20 plus pull-ups, which is a 3-day-a-week calisthenics bodyweight only program. This would be a conditioning program. You can do it with just running. You could do it on the Airdyne. You could do it on the rower, whatever you want, whatever your modality is. But there are 3 different energy systems that you need to maintain to be really well-rounded, to be really fit. And the problem is most people don't actually train these different energy systems. And I'm going to name them gain, pain, and sustain. These are not their technical names. Their technical names would be the phosphagen
or creatine phosphate system, the glycolytic, and then also the oxidative system.
And that sounds pretty boring. So how you're going to memorize this is a gain workout, a pain workout, and a sustain workout. So the gain workout is that super low end part of the energy system spectrum. And I'm going to give you very specific protocols here, even though there is a little nuance to these. So what you're going to do, all of this is interval training. Interval training when you are pressed for time is the most effective thing that you can do. It is the biggest bang for your buck. So again, you can do this rowing, on a treadmill, Airdyne, does not matter, running on the street. For the gain, you're going to do 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off. That's it. And you're going to go pretty hard. Okay. 30 seconds of really hard effort followed by 90 seconds of rest. And if you're just starting out with this, you're only going to do about 5 intervals. That's where I would start. I wouldn't do any more than that, because here's the deal with all energy system training. And another way people are getting interval training wrong is you're going to be looking at consistency between interval 1 to interval 2 to interval 3 to interval 4 to interval 5. And that's going to be true for everything I'm talking about today. Once you massively lose that consistency, the workout really isn't all that effective anymore in terms of you seeing progress. It's still effective in maybe getting additional aerobic training in, sweating, burning calories. But as far as making actual progress, clipping down mile times, once you lose that consistency, it's not really as effective. So an example of that, if I'm doing 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off, and in that 30 seconds, I'm running. And let's say I run 200 meters in 90 seconds. Well, if I run 200, but then all of a sudden I'm running 180, 170, 150, and it's just clipping down, I'm not able to get as far because I'm too fatigued, you can call the workout. So if you're wondering, hey, when do I stop? That's when you stop. When you're not seeing that consistency anymore, you probably go 1 or 2 more once the consistency drops. And then you realize, hey, there's not a lot of benefit anymore. I'm going to move on. So for the gain workout, it's 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off. Start with 5 intervals, and you can work your way up all the way up to 20, or really wherever you start to lose that consistency across interval to interval. So that's 1 day per week. The next day you would do, like the calisthenics workouts I've covered in a different video. And then you would go to a pain workout. So these are named appropriately. They hurt. They suck. Almost no one trains the glycolytic or pain portion. They just don't like to. CrossFitters do it quite often, but most regular humans don't do it. And what you're going to do is 2 minutes on, 4 minutes off. So this is 2 minutes, really hard effort. And 2 minutes of really, really hard effort is very, very difficult, very taxing. And these are the types of workouts that make people want to vomit. Okay, so be careful with these. But you're going to go 2 minutes on, really, really hard, super hard. Then you're going to take 4 minutes off. Try to get to a full recovery. Again, with this one, you'll start with 5 intervals, and you can work your way up to 10 intervals in a single workout. But again, the real thing that I'd be looking for is where does the consistency between intervals drop off? And that's where I would stop the workout. Now, the last one is sustain. This is training that oxidative, just pure aerobic. And this is where most people live, most of the time. You're going for a 30-minute run or whatever. But again, I like to do interval training. So you're going to do 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. You're going to start with 3 intervals, and you can work your way up to 5. Again, I'm trying to make all of this fit within an hour, but you can go longer if you have more time. You can do it differently if you want. You could do 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off. And then your intensity here can vary. You can go for aerobic threshold training where you're trying to run as far as you can given the time domain, so 5 minutes as far as you can go. Or you can throw that in zone 2, 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Or you can maintain zone 2 throughout the entirety, meaning you go upper threshold zone 2 for 5 minutes, then you walk, brisk walk, jog for 5 minutes in the 5 minute off portion, trying to stay into that zone 2 category. Because there's a lot of people talking about zone 2 and its importance, but really it's not as important as most people would think. It's really important if you're a marathon runner and you need to get your 26 different miles consistently lower times. But if you're trying to go run sub 6 minute miles and just be really fit and really powerful, this is the type of training that you need to be implementing, energy system training. You don't need to stress out about getting 90 minutes in zone 2 and all this other crap. Follow energy system training, 3 workouts per week, gain, pain, sustain. Do this however you want and watch how much progress you see in such a short time. Because when I was in the military and I'd prescribe stuff like this to airmen, they would see massive results really fast because interval training is just a different beast. It's a different animal. You can clip down times really fast when you implement interval training, especially when it's done smartly with energy system training. And if you want to really have a solid program built for people who can do awesome things, combine that with my episode on how to do 20 plus strict pull-ups consistently. And now you have a 6-day-a-week program that's going to ultimately have you be able to be consistent and be a badass in the process. Because look, I don't need to remind you every single time, but I will. When you are fit, when you are doing these things, you are becoming a better person. You are becoming a better human being, a better version of yourself. The better version of yourself is capable of more. It's capable of scaling a company. It's capable, you're capable of being present at home. You're capable of being a better husband, a better father, a better mother. But you have to take care of yourself. So I'm trying to give you as many ways as you possibly can to take care of yourself. Make it simple, make it easy, so you don't keep skipping the workouts over and over. Try harder.